You were. They were
Traveling.
showing while I was here working. And that's in that.
We'd like to get Louisa a horse as well, so she can come showing with us.
Right. We have a great lineup. We're going to start off with some news and mentions and things. Then we're going to have Dr. Adam Cayot on the show by phone, because we actually don't have room for him here anyway this week. And then we've got part 2 with Hall of Famer Steve Haskin from last week, when he talked a little bit about the Haskell and some of the things going on there with the whip rules and whatnot. Very interesting segment. And we can never talk to him for just one, so we're going to share the second one with you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games, which was such a blast, and share some really funny videos with you from those. And then we're going to close it out, the last 2 segments, with Colby, and talk about her trophy, which we'll be showing off shortly. But first of all, let's mention Piranha, because believe it or not, in 2022, it will be 50 years for Piranha. Woo!
That's a big job, Piranha.
The most trusted name in fly spray, and we all count on it, don't we?
Sure.
And actually, that bag right there,
oh, yes.
that's for you.
Oh, look at me.
All kinds of goodies. There you go.
I've got all the swag.
Your welcome bag.
Nice.
Welcome bag with all the goodies in it, which is really nice.
Nice. Thank
and
you.
then we've got a question for you from Piranha, and we're going to talk about it. Describe yourself as a horse you're trying to sell. You can comment below or message us and tell us, how would you sell yourself if you're a horse? I need to add that. Gigi, what do you think? Start over here.
With me, I would say I'm a little temperamental. She's got a big attitude.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
Well, that too.
When you said big, I was like, oh no, she's not going there.
She's naughty. She's very naughty.
So in English we say arse.
Oh, all right.
All right.
There you go. And I would not pass a vet check. Would struggle with a pre-purchase exam.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now over.
I mean, how do you follow that? You already took the 2 best ones. I definitely wouldn't pass the vet exam. I would say I'm probably not meant for kids. Maybe it takes more of a professional touch, you know?
Okay, there you go.
Me.
Experienced hand handler.
Very funny. So, I would definitely be a bit naughty at times. No such thing as a stranger. Always looking for a treat.
Driven by food.
Food motivated. Nice.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I wouldn't pass a vet check. For sure.
So thumbs down on all the pre-purchase exams.
So describe yourself. Let us know. And if you put something really good out there, we'll share it next week on the show and have a good laugh about it. I might even snort if it's really funny, because I tend to do that.
Oh my gosh.
But switching up to a bit of news, unfortunately, a couple of sad things to talk. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm so sorry. Gigi's keeping me sorted out here. CEP partner upgrades. We are very thankful to the CEP that we're able to have the equine studios here for the Horse Talk show in the Equine Initiative building. And CEP partner upgrades. The Horse Talk show upgraded their partnership, and also Equiceptional Media, sister company founded by Gigi and I, are also new CEP partners, and these are some other CEP partners. I see a horse head on Ocala now, so that makes me want to just Google that, just because there's a horse head. So anyway, well done to those new partners and CEP upgrades. We love what the chamber does. We are the only chamber in the world with an equine initiative that we know of, so we think that's pretty cool, and certainly fits in the horse capital of the world.
Sure.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I'm out of trouble now for not mentioning things, so that's good, right?
Back
so
on track.
A couple of sad things. Hazel, who's actually a 30-year-old wild horse in the Corolla herd in North Carolina, very sadly was found deceased. She was at least probably 30 years, I'm not sure, but thinks that she was about 30 years old. But she was kind of the matriarch of the herd, and she made a habit of giving other mothers in the herd a rest from their babies by going and babysitting. And she was just a very, very neat old horse. So very sad, but she did live out her life very happily and peacefully among the other about 100 head of horses that are there in that herd. So I think that's pretty neat. People who go visit there and get to see them roaming, I think that's really...
That's a long time.
It is a long
for a wild
life.
horse to live.
It is indeed. It
I mean,
really
even
is.
even with our help, it's a long time. But that is a
Yes.
really long life for a wild horse to
I
live. So
agree.
it must have been a very
It
healthy,
really, really is.
happy animal.
Yeah, and that photo, she certainly looked,
For sure.
looked to be healthy, so that's neat.
Fat and happy on a beach.
Happy on a beach, we
Yep.
can't go
I
wrong there,
mean-
can you?
Yep.
Don't forget that we have a wonderful chamber event coming up at Chestnut Hill Arabians.
Yes, we
We
will
actually
be there.
have our Arabian Horse Equine 101 on September the 3rd. You can sign up at that if you're a CEP partner. If you're not a CEP partner, you're still welcome to come. You can just email me, Louisa, at ocalacep.com and let us know you're coming. So we have enough refreshments to go around.
I think that'll be a fun event. We're
think
planning
it'll
on
be
some
lovely.
hands-on and very interactive.
This was pretty
Oh.
neat today. I went and actually visited Jessica Harrington and Doug Walsh, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago. You probably
Yes.
saw them, lovely couple, that have bought what used to be, long time ago, the Hooper Farm, and following that it was Hardacre Farm where my friend Jeff Garron trained the horses, and they've actually bought that 157-acre farm.
Good for them.
And it's Crown View dressage now, and
That's awesome.
and Doug does his horsemanship, natural horsemanship, and that was Jador, who actually was on the short list for the Olympics.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's
I
amazing.
know.
Very good. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
That's
So
great.
I got to kiss and cuddle him today, so that was really, really neat. I really enjoyed that. It was wonderful. In a little bit of other... Oh, okay. I guess we're at the end of it.
I guess
just
we're-
wanted to say,
we're rolling
before I
right
get
along.
to this, prayers and sympathies and thoughts to Jet Set, the horse who very sadly fell, the Swiss Olympic horse that fell and had to be euthanized. And I know the decision was absolutely the right thing to do with a ruptured ligament, but our thoughts certainly do go out to everybody connected. And really quick, I'm going to mention what Judy just popped up, which you've got to Google this one, Edward Jenner,
Okay.
1796, I think, where they infected the first person with what they thought was a vaccine because they actually used cowpox, and vacca is the Latin word for cow. But they have since studied through DNA and all the other stuff that they do in science that actually they don't think it was a cow, they think it was a horse.
Minor details.
Therefore, it should have been called an equine instead of a vaccine.
Okay.
So I thought that was a nice little piece of trivia to find out, especially with vaccines all over
like
the
it.
news lately. But why not? No, really, it should be an equine, which fits much better anyway in the
Yeah,
horse capital of the
for
world.
sure.
So we just got the 1 minute sign, which means that we're going to go to break. But we're going to come right back in just a few minutes after the Horse Farms Forever video, who, by the way, have their summit coming up in November, which I'll have a nice PDF flyer for you next week with all the information on it. And we'll have Dr. Adam Cayot from Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. He has no idea what we're going to talk to him about yet, so it could be fun. So stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. We'll be right back.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now, or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations, with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honoring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson & Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. I'm Louisa Barton in the studio with my co-host. And by the way, that ringing and on the phone, that's Dr. Adam Cayot.
He's ready to go.
He's all set.
He's ready to go. He probably hasn't had his supper yet.
I hope he's not on the roof. Hi, Dr. Cayot.
No, not on the roof today.
Okay, good.
I have my co-host Jody Everson here and also Colby Hernandez in the studio with us. And we haven't told Dr. Cayot what we're going to ask him.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I,
I know.
I don't have a topic today.
I know, it's much more fun like that, though. So the first question we have for you is, Jody, the question we had for him was if he was trying to sell himself.
Yes.
As a horse.
As a horse.
As a horse. What would he say about himself?
Oh, well, okay.
Yes, we've done this already,
if I was
so
a
yeah.
horse, what would I say about myself?
To sell
very
yourself.
Well-mannered.
Well-mannered.
Extremely athletic.
Oh. Wow.
And, you know, and nice to look at.
Dr. Cayot, you sound like the whole package.
Yeah.
I didn't, those are my words.
He's going to get some calls on this ad, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
So, would you pass a pre-purchase exam?
Would I pass a pre-purchase exam?
Yeah.
That might be a little questionable. My kissing spine in my lumbar area, and my flexion on my left knee might be a little positive.
Oh, God.
Oh no! You should have heard what we said about us.
So, my price might get lowered a little bit after the pre-purchase exam.
You might be discounted. Yeah.
I might be discounted.
Room for negotiation.
Exactly.
He might be a real steal.
Not too bad for a 47-year-old horse.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
So our second question for you is, why is a coffin bone called a coffin bone? It doesn't resemble a coffin.
That's a good question. I don't know that for sure, but my suspect would be is that it's buried in the hoof.
Oh, that's good.
Ba-da-dum-bum-bum.
That's a good guess. So the next thing I want to ask you about is, apparently, I didn't know this, but August is Gastric Ulcer Awareness Month. You know, there's an awareness for everything every month.
I mean, thank God.
Right? I know. So that made me think about, like, almost all horses, especially competing show horses, race horses, have ulcers of some sort.
That's right.
And it's a very, very high percentage. And kind of how you deal with that for, you know, especially, I mean, I'm sitting here with people who just got back from a horse show, and I'm quite sure that them and the horses have ulcers after that. So.
Maybe us more than the horses. But.
Yeah, could be.
Right. Ulcers all around.
Yes. So how you address that and diagnose it and kind of how much can you help competing horses that are on the road a lot and different environments and everything.
Right. Well, diagnosing it can be a challenge sometimes. I mean, the only way to definitively diagnose it is to actually do an endoscopic exam where we look at the lining of the stomach. So we pass an endoscope down into the stomach and look for that. There can be ulcerations in other parts of the digestive tract that we actually can't get to as well, but being the most common type, that was the gastric ulcers that happen in the stomach. That's the best way that it's and gold, quote unquote, gold standard on how gastric ulcers are diagnosed. But you can get, there are attributes or traits that horses with ulcers typically have. A lot of times they'll start getting sour about being brushed or getting their tack put on, or they'll have an attitude change because they weren't very capable, or they didn't have prior to that. Mm-hmm. So if you see any of these things, they can have a colic. Another common thing is chronic colics that are fairly mild. So they'll colic. You give them some Banamine, they basically get better, and then 2-3 weeks later they're colicking again. Same deal. Very indicative of possible ulcer, ulcer problems or ulcer lesions. The best way to treat them is to horses are meant to graze all day long, and be able to forage all day long. But obviously in our management systems that we have in our stables these days, that makes it difficult, especially if land is not really available. Obviously you can't have them out all the time. We have medicines. We have antacids. Omeprazole is one of those. Actually, Zantac or ranitidine just got pulled because of the adverse effects that was shown in people. But there are medicines out there that we have that you can treat the horses with that will help alleviate those ulcers and make them a lot more pleasant and happy. So.
Yeah. And do you find that, and do you recommend people take horses that, if they're at a show facility and they're traveling or on the road, if possible, take them out and walk them around, hand walk them and graze them and kind of just let them relax and be a horse out of the stable environment when they can?
Absolutely. The more they can graze, the better. Grass does a couple things. First of all, saliva is a base, so it helps neutralize that acid. The grass that they eat, the feed material actually helps neutralize that acid. So that if they're swallowing their saliva and they're swallowing feed material, that helps neutralize that acid. If they're just standing in the stall all day long, their stomach constantly secretes this, and so you don't have any buffer. So yeah, the more that you can take them out, more they can eat grass, whatever, even hay, helps with all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, grazing for sure, and getting them out of that barn, stretching their legs, walking them, and especially if you have a safe place to take them out and walk them around a couple of times a day. So
anything to lower their stress level helps.
Right.
But some horses are a little bit, they're stressed out all the time, kind of like people. You got your laid back ones, and then you got your ones that aren't so laid back. So,
have you had any luck or any feedback from people about supplementation that they've used or tried that's been successful? I've heard from some people that they're big believers in the effects of a lot of the supplements lately. They're certainly improved over the years.
Yeah. I try not to wade in too much about the supplements. There's a lot of those things out there, and if you think that it helps your horse, that's fine. I just try to base myself as much on science as I can, and obviously there's anecdotal stuff out there by clients. I get stuff just not only gastric stuff, but joint supplements and things like that they feel that their horse has done better. So I can't really wade in on, do I really recommend those? I'd say I probably don't necessarily recommend them, but I don't necessarily not recommend them either.
So, right. Yeah, you'd have to do a lot of studying, I guess, to be able to come up with answers for people, and then they're still going to have their own answer anyway, right? So, what about calming medications? Do you ever prescribe any calming medications to ever help alleviate that?
Well, there's calming medications out there. certainly there's medications that have some tryptophan and that sort of thing in them. There's 30-day tranquilizers that we can give, quote-unquote 30-day tranquilizers that kind of take the edge off. Obviously, depending on what you're trying to do with the horse and whether the horse is in a show program or a training program, you have to be careful with all those because some of those things do test. But if the horse is a little bit fractious and you're trying to be safe and be safe for the rider and the horse as well, there's many options out there that are available that do help. And so it just kind of depends on that situation that the horse is in.
And it's in the 90 kind of plus percentile, isn't it, of horses that show and compete that actually do have gastric ulcers. It's quite high.
Right.
So, right. Wonderful. Well, Dr. Adam Cayot, we don't have you here in person this week, but it is still nice to chat to you on the phone and find out what kind of horse Dr. Cayot is when he's trying to sell himself to a
One that's long in the tooth.
He's not wrong. He's not bad to look at.
He's a handsome chap.
Yeah, sure.
He is. Thank you,
Thanks
Dr.
for
Cayot.
having me.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll have you back in the studio, I know, in the near future, because Jody would love to have you here.
Yes. I want to meet Dr. Cayot.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Dr. Adam Cayot, I know we've got to be close to the end of this segment, but actually there's something, wait, 1 minute. There's something I actually forgot to mention in the first segment. I'm going to mention really quickly now, and that is congratulations to German Julia Krajewski, who actually is the first female to ever win the Olympic gold medal in eventing.
Amazing.
What a nice ride.
Amazing.
Well done. Very impressed.
You help all of us when you ride like that out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you help me look bad.
Yeah.
Make us all look worse.
No. You give us something to strive for. Don't listen to them.
Inspiration is what it's all about. That's right. We're coming back with a pre-recorded segment with Steve Haskin, our Hall of Fame turf rider, as we never do one segment with him. You know that. He knows too much. He's full of information. It was incredible. So we're going to hear that second half about the Haskell and the whips and a number of other things we talked about. And then after that, we'll be back to talk about hobby horse equestrian games. So stay with us.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Peterson & Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and Larson Hay, our broadcast and television sponsor, plus supporting sponsors, DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Piranha, TT Distributors, and the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Louisville.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson & Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton, chatting to my favorite guest, Steve Haskin, our Hall of Famer. We've been talking a little bit about racing this year, and we've been chatting about what could have been very serious situation in Haskell. Fortunately, Midnight Bourbon, well, two blessings. He got to be okay, and the jockey, but he also got a visit from Steve, which, you know, we'd like to have one of those here in Ocala. So lucky Midnight Bourbon, and certainly a situation that ended out very well. But on the DQ side, and as Steve was saying, Tis the Law was really sort of unheard of at this point. So maybe Midnight Bourbon's now going to move on to getting that grade 1. He certainly deserves it after what he did in the race. But Steve, back to kind of what you were saying, you know, he's still young enough that he can go on and do lots more great things, right?
He is. You know, like I said, Tis now, at this time, really not many people knew about him except people that have seen him in California.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think the same with him because he looks a lot like Tisdale.
Mm-hmm.
Their heads are very similar. They got the same kind of markings on there. So he's the kind of horse that he just needs to find his best weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's to catch a horse, whether it's to hold off a horse, he needs to be ridden with good timing. So so far he's either been moved too soon or he's just moved too late and unable to catch a horse. But I think if he gets into a dogfight in the stretch, I think he's going to be like Tisdale. He's going to be very hard to beat. So I'm looking forward somewhere down the line, whether it's going to be this summer, in the fall, or even next year. Hopefully, I think pretty sure they're going to keep him in training, trying to get a grade 1. And if he stays in training next year, I think you're going to see a dynamite 4-year-old, as you did with Tisdale.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that. And right now, I don't think anybody deserves a grade 1 victory more than Midnight Bird.
I agree. Well, think about Mucho Macho Man. I mean, he just got better and better and better. And look, by the time I think he was 5, when he got the Breeders' Cup Classic, I mean, these horses, the ones that don't get retired to the breeding shed or retired completely for some reason, tend to go on and do better and better when they are really good horses. Sometimes they are those grade 2 or grade 3 horses that, you don't necessarily see them shine immediately, but they actually get to stay in racing long enough to get that grade 1 and be those older horses that have incredible careers. So he could be one of those. Talk to us a little bit about the whip thing. I know at the Haskell that the whip thing came up, especially since the clipping of the heels, they say may have been avoided had the jockey had the whip to at least warn the horse not to step over. There was also some talk about maybe blinkers being taken off, could have even played into that, and kind of your feedback and thoughts on all of that.
Well, the blinker part I had mentioned. I didn't want to go into detail because, I certainly don't want to throw Doug O'Neill under the bus or anything, or criticize his moves because he's the trainer.
Right.
I just didn't understand why that they would take the blinkers off, but that's besides the point. But as far as the whip rule, look, we know how controversial the whip rule has been all year, and we really haven't heard much about it because there haven't been any big races at Monmouth, so the country hasn't been watching. So right now, everything looked, like it was going just nice and calm, and everything was working out, even though the Monmouth jockey colony is majority jockeys that nobody ever heard of because a lot of riders won't ride there. A lot of the riders won't go to Monmouth to ride. So leave it to, I don't know if you want to call it the gods of racing or what, but the first time Monmouth is on the national stage, the whip rule comes into focus, which is what it did in the Haskell. And look, I don't know why. I don't understand some people criticizing Flavien Prat. I don't know what he did wrong. I mean, the horse just drifted in. He didn't touch him at all.
Right.
He had him. It's not like he didn't angle him, and the horse just drifted in. And I think if he had the a whip, there's one thing about Flavien Prat. If you watch his races, a lot of times when a horse turns into the stretch, he'll give him a pop left-handed to make sure he doesn't do that, to keep him off other horses inside of him.
Right.
And I think one of the misnomers we have, and again, this is racing's fault for semantics, but they're not whips. I mean, a whip is something, there was an old character, Western, back in the 40s and 50s named Lash LaRue, who had, he had this big bull whip, and that's how he never used a gun, he just used a whip. But you've seen what a whip is like when you whip somebody, a prisoner or something, with a cat of nine tails, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I mean, this is not a whip. It's called a crop.
Right.
It's made of leather, and the new crops. Again, I'm not for whipping horses. I've seen jockeys abuse the whip, and I can't stand it.
100%.
The thing about the new crops is that the horses, supposedly you can't ask them, but they don't feel it. I mean, there's nothing there. It's the pop. It's the sound they make.
Yes, it is. It's an attention getter. When there's a dire situation that could cause a horse to fall or a rider to fall or both and get hurt, it's a shot across the bow. It's a warning, hey, get back right so nothing bad happens. It's not about, I'm totally against beating horses. I agree with you 100%, but I've seen these whips made in a local shop here in the Ocala area where they're handmade, and I have personally tried them on my leg to see, you know, hey, how's this feel? It is not a whip by any means, or any shape of the imagination. It's not a whip. To me, it's a safety device. I think you're carrying it on the horse more just to tell the horse, hey, look, they know when you're carrying it. Believe me, they're very smart. They know when you've got it. And to me, it's you know, quite often just used to warn them, hey, you know, you've got a 1,200-pound animal, you know, plus maybe moving over and into another 1,200-pound animal moving at 30 miles an hour. You better have some kind of warning device, or you're going to have an incident, you know. And this is horse sports. We all love horse sports. But let's not say horse sports are not at times dangerous. They are. I've watched horses going over 5-foot fences. Scares the living daylights out of me sometimes when I see a fence fall or a horse fall into a fence, you know.
It's horrible. I find it hard to watch.
It can be.
You know, I respect the sport of steeplechasing, but it's just hard for me to watch.
Yes.
And you know, sometimes you'll get a horse who's got tremendous amount of ability.
Yeah.
But sometimes they get a little lazy. They might need an encouragement.
Right.
All they need is a pop.
Yes.
I'll give you 2 instances. 2 horses came around the same year. Dr. Fager and Damascus, 2 of my all-time favorites. I've written about them both. Dr. Fager, if you watch his races, if Bridle obeys, he hits him with the whip. He throws his tail up in the air. He doesn't want to be whipped. He will run as fast as he can on his own. He does not want to be whipped at all. Damascus is a type of horse that the jockeys would have to start hitting him at the half-mile pole. He would just get so lazy. And the races that he lost, and he lost several races in photos, because he had a tendency not to go by horses. He would like to just hang on horses. And he would need encouragement. If you gave him the encouragement and just got him by those horses, he won the Travers by 22 lengths. He won the Woodward Stakes, the race of the century, by 10 lengths. Wow. He won the American Derby by 7 lengths. He would destroy his opposition. Yeah. Once he got by them, he would just keep going and just open up. You know, that's what's Damascus. He needed encouragement. He had a tendency to get lazy and not want to go by horses.
Hey, Steve, we just got the 1 minute again. I don't know, but time flies when you're having fun, because whenever I talk to you, they're the fastest segments we do. But I want to thank you so much for joining us. You're always a wealth of information, and I love the way that we can learn more and find out more about these very important topics. So we thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's always my pleasure.
Secretariat.com if you want some of the best stories in horse racing that you'll ever read. Secretariat.com. Find our Hall of Famer, Steve Haskin. He is the best in the world on the topic of horse racing. I'm Louisa Barton. We'll be back on the Horse Talk Show in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Equestrians, it's time to take care of yourself as well as you do your horse. So get down to Pulse Center of Ocala. The PEMF wave is safe, and it's a therapy that charges your cells and allows them to function at their fullest capacity, so you heal much faster. Check them out at pulsecenterfl.com now and tell them you heard about it on the Horse Talk Show for a free demo.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and services hassle-free and easier than ever, with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy. Find new roads.
World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Center Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Center now on Facebook and find them on the web at epcrehab.com.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show.
You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this.
With your host, Louisa Barton.
What does it feel like to be in love with a horse?
Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience.
Back in the saddle again.
Now, here's your pretty Louisa Barton.
You're fab. You're switched on. You're a bit of all right. Yes. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Welcome back to the second half of the Horse Talk Show presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Hay, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton in the studio with my co-host Jody Everton, who is back from showing beautiful Arabians across the country, and also special guest co-host in the studio here, Colby Hernandez, who we'll be talking to about a fairly large trophy that's sitting over here. Yes. I'm quite excited. So anyway, you can comment on whether or not you like the window, because we think we like the window. So comment on the window. Instead of a table in a field, we now have a window.
And if there's a lot of likes, then maybe they'll keep the window.
That's right. Like it, and we'll keep it. I want to talk a little bit about the hobby horse gymkhana, aka the stick horse equestrian games. So it started out as the hobby horse gymkhana until I got a lot of text messages to say, what's a hobby horse or what's a gymkhana? And I said, oh dear, I'm too British. So, translate, stick horse. This is not Sunny. Sunny is actually at home. I did make a Sunny, but anyway, this is actually a stolen stick horse.
That poor child.
Now we've got a theft going on, too.
That poor kid.
It's
if you're
felony.
missing your stick horse,
that is a felony in the
please,
state.
please comment below.
Yeah, comment below.
We will get your stick horse back
If
to
found, please return home.
Oh my gosh, look how cute.
We'll only return it to the person who uses the correct name.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, you have to know the name.
You have to know the
stick
name,
horse.
yes.
So this is one of the stick horses that actually Trisha Bell, the trainer that is going to Tokyo with her student to compete in the Paralympics, made this horse. Somehow this horse jumped in my Jeep. I don't know how.
It's a likely story. Poor Trish is still looking for this, probably.
Very talented stick horse.
Yes. So anyway.
It does have kind of Arabian quality. It's got kind of a pushed up face.
I like
and,
it.
she loves her Arabian, so that must be what it is.
It's super patriotic, too.
It
I know.
is.
Well, you guys don't know this yet, but next year when the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games officially becomes an annual event, you're making lots of stick horses.
Okay, all right, we'll be there.
I can't wait.
Yes, and you can do them even Chestnut Hill Arabians colours,
Perfect.
and logos and everything.
We would like
on
that.
them.
They did a stick
Very
horse workshop and competition at Youth Nationals as well.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it was cute.
So you see, you should be really good at this.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the Stick Horse Equestrian Games, aka the Hobby Horse Gymkhana, for those of you that are British, was a huge success. It was incredible. I think we raised close to $7,000 altogether between donations and sponsors. And we're sharing, if you're watching this on Facebook or on Equus TV, we're sharing some of the photos and videos as we talk about this, because honestly, you have never had as much fun until you see people riding stick horses. I mean, it's just hilarious. And we even had a little meet and greet with some live horses.
Will Stewie visit?
Stewie is an official Ocala equine envoy horse, which means he's allowed to go downtown and walk around, and of course with Julia, and show off all his winnings. And he came to do a little meet and greet with the kids. And he's such a sweet, lovely.
She is so funny the way she walks him around. Like he's the mayor of every town
He
he's
is.
in.
He is the mayor. He's the mayor of Ocala. Yeah, if he ran, he might win.
I think he might.
He might. This is one of the stick horses they made. They actually made them out of mop heads and men's socks.
Cute.
And
that is very clever.
She sent me videos of making these, and they were having way too much fun. But anyway, it really is fun to have like parties and make these.
That's cute.
And then Honey, the miniature service horse, of course, came and visited and went over all the jumps and did all the classes. And I actually got a silver medal in the walk class because Honey beat me and got the gold.
Wow.
Because you're not allowed to jump yet.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't break doctor's orders.
We had the Ocala Polo Club there who gave full lessons
running
of
around
polo for us.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, playing polo on a stick
you know
horse.
what? They are good sports.
They are such good sports. Are you kidding me? I mean, you want to talk about like amazing. Oh, and
the Pasofino demonstration.
The Pasofino demo on the board by Frenchie. You cannot make up how good This has made a lot of people laugh.
Oh, that is great.
I know.
Look, and now we start the hunters and the jumpers, of course.
Jumpers, and this
little
was,
warm up.
oh my gosh, this was so much fun to watch. Only one person went down on their horse. We did have a couple of rails knocked.
Oh wow!
They're
jumping in tandem.
Yeah, well, we
it's
did
incredible.
We did, and then those were the low classes we did in tandem. But then when we got to the bigger classes, they went one at a time because we didn't want it to get too dangerous. We actually had to yell at them a couple of times and tell them they were getting the horses too close. It was more like "Chase me, Charlie" in England.
You know what this reminds me of? Have you seen that comedy routine that French and Sanders, the two women? That they go to the barn. It takes them all day to get ready, and the one horse is taking off, and the other one they can't move, and eventually they just jump their course themselves. If they're British, I'll find that for you.
I'm gonna have to. So that's Trisha Bell. You'll see her in Tokyo, I'm sure, because she'll be there when she competes on the first competition's August 28th for the Paralympics for her. So. But these are the stick horses they made, and they just really did a phenomenal job. And all of this wouldn't happen without Miller and Sons Plumbing, by the way. They actually were the presenting sponsor that helped us be able to get this whole thing together.
Them.
And then Equiceptional Media was there all day. Gigi was there all day, sweating it out in the heat. This is five-star eventer Daniela Moguel with Honey, the miniature service horse. Daniela Moguel is the only female non-military to ever compete for Mexico in eventing. And she came and competed. You want to talk about a woman I adore? I'm telling you, this woman right here is amazing. She took time out of her day. Five-star eventer. That's Kayla with Sunny. She's competing in the Olympics August 28th, so she'll be in Tokyo with her horse, Totoro.
That says a lot, that she took the time to spend.
She took the time to come and do that. She didn't have to do that.
No.
To me, that is a real person right there. She brought some students. They
really
all had an absolute blast. They were even doing trot circles before they went over the course. I'm like, you're doing a trot circle? Save your energy. It's 100 degrees.
You got to warm up and get those stick horses ready.
Easy Lemonade, who gave all the money from the lemonade to the cause.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Sue
awesome.
is an awesome woman. There's Honey with little Dana. Oh, the freestyle. Oh, if we got the freestyle, we've got to have the freestyle. So this
I'm so sorry we missed this.
Oh my God.
Freestyle. I mean, I'm just telling you these
very clever.
They're just amazing. The whole day, the energy and the people and it was just a really great, wonderful event. And it's going to be annual, and we're going to grow it. We're going to have 3 rings.
Great idea.
We want to have 3 rings. We're going to have we're going to have a Western ring that's going to have barrel racing, pole bending. And can you imagine barrel racing, pole bending, and
the barrel
raining?
racing will be great. Oh my God, the raining.
Can we chase the dog around? What are we going to do?
It's raining. Can you imagine the
spins and slides?
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be fun.
So there'll be a Western ring, and then there's going to be the hunter jumper ring with the dressage in it, which will just be the dressage, and we've got some dressage courses that Gigi found that we'll have them study. And then the other ring's going to be eventing, and we're going to have a cross-country course with a water jump and everything.
To run through the water.
So we're going to make this huge and annual, and then we'll have a polo match at the end, and we'll have tailgating for the polo, so you can actually tailgate.
We have to go to this.
I know.
For sure. For sure, we will be there.
To me, I think it's going to be like the event of the year.
Why wouldn't it be?
I mean,
can you imagine having barns and companies all building hobby horses
I think it's so funny.
for the event?
I think
and then, here's my idea. So, my idea is to have a PIMS tent. You'll have to Google what PIMS is. But anyway,
I'm a little concerned about that.
We have a tent where Gigi's sitting inside with a fan on her, nice and cool, and you can go in and have a PIMS, and then you can sit and watch your videos that Gigi will have ready, little clips she'll have for you to look at, and photos.
You've thought this out.
And if you like them, after a PIMS or so, you can buy them. And it'll be a fundraiser. You buy the little clips or the photos.
Perfect.
And we'll print the photo, and it'll say Stick Horse Equestrian Games 2022 on it. And you'll get to keep it, and you'll be able to watch your own equitation on video.
Which is what we all want to watch, for sure. Definitely want to analyze that video.
Something else to critique.
That's good. Make sure you change leads and, all that good stuff.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait.
And then after the PIMS, you can go and compete again. And you can Google what PIMS is.
All right, we will do that. And while we're doing that,
PIMMS.
if any of our listeners know the comedy routine French and Sanders, you know what I'm talking about. This looks like we could use French and Sanders as an intro for this. And I'm going to show that to Louisa because she's going to get a big crack out of that. She's going to like that.
We're coming right back and we're going to talk about
me.
Colby.
Yay!
Yay, it'll be Colby's turn.
Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. We'll just be a few minutes.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and our broadcast and television sponsor, Larson Hay, and also to our supporting sponsors, Equisafe, Nirvana Medical Spa, Showcase Properties of Central Florida, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, and Summit Joint Performance.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and services hassle-free and easier than ever, with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy. Find new roads.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the fifth segment of the Horse Talk Show presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. I'm Louisa Barton. I've got Jodie Everton here back in the studio with us from her travels, and she brought with her Colby Hernandez, who has been showing with her. And we're going to learn a little bit about Colby and this. Yes. It's not better than this. No, I'm just kidding.
Just
this
different.
is what you're going to win next year.
That's right.
I think this stolen horse needs a name.
He really does.
It's pretty cute. I don't know what to think of him. Freedom, maybe.
I feel like everybody should add their names in the comments. They should all get online and comment.
Yeah,
and
you
we
should
should
get
have
online
a
and comment. What should we name the
what
stolen
should we name
stick
him?
horse? Hopefully Kayla and Trish aren't watching and they're like, that's it! They might already have a name. So tell us a little bit about you, Colby. How long have you been riding for? We had you as an Arabian at the beginning of the show.
I saw that. I guess my title has now changed.
Or
but
Arabians are
yeah,
beautiful,
you know,
so
it might
it's
be
a fit,
confusing.
right?
That's a good fit.
Yeah,
for
Well,
sure.
I mean, if we're gonna add the word beauty into it, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I've, you know, coming into the Arabian sport and working with some of the Arabian horses is definitely new to me. I've been a rider my whole life. I mean, from way back when, 8 years old, yeah, running around with my parents at the horse farm. I grew up riding. I did hunter jumpers for a really long time.
I could tell because you were talking about it, and I was like, hey, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I love that. That's definitely my world. But I took a couple years off from the hunter jumpers, and I wanted to get into doing something. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And many, many years ago, when I very first started riding, I actually started on an Arabian. And so part of it for me was just kind of coming full circle and just getting back into where it all began. And oddly enough, even though I'm getting back into something of where it all began, it's something entirely new and different. And so I met Joe from Chestnut Hill, and I met Jody, and just found my little Arabian horse family. And then before you know it, we had one horse, and then two horses, and
they're like
a few more.
Potato chips.
Just like Chris. I like potato chips. You can't just have one.
No.
Yeah,
no. You need a matching, beautiful set of
variety works well, especially in this sport. You know, it's.
At least you have a cooperative husband. That's really important.
Well, I learned early on that if they're gray, he says yes.
Oh!
So
he loves the gray horses.
If you come to my house, they're all pretty much all gray.
That's funny, yeah. So Colby and I actually, we met at Joe's at Chestnut Hill Arabians, but we have kind of an interesting connection, and that we're both from New Jersey. And one of Stephanie's...
So naturally, we're really loud.
So we're a little bit loud, and we had a lot in common.
Like
I felt
British.
like from the second I met you, I just felt like we're just like, you know, just a Twitter.
We sort of screamed at each other for 5 minutes, and we would be best friends.
But everybody spread out, which was good, so we had a little time to ourselves. But we realized one of my dearest friends and equine mentors were Ricky and Stephanie Desiderio from New Jersey, and that is where Stephanie got a lot of her early training, is in Stephanie's barn.
Yeah, I got it. Yes, when I first started, I started riding around on the farm and doing things like that, but when it came time for me to actually start getting riding lessons, my very first riding instructor was Stephanie Desiderio. So I grew up a Desiderio barn brat, running around with Frank and Ricky and goofing around on all those horses, and it was amazing. I mean, I remember being a really little kid and Frank Desiderio was sitting down with me and being like, you know, you should really show Arabian horses and we're going to go to nationals and we're going to do all these great things. And I was like, I want to go to the Olympics. So I went to go.
I wanted the medal.
So I went to go ride
I think
jumpers.
Frank is smiling somewhere right now. Ricky too, knowing that this is what you're into.
So yeah, when that didn't work out, I was like, you know, Arabians aren't bad. Let me go back and check that out.
But we've both just been so inspired by Stephanie and by Ricky, and Ricky passed last year, so we thought it was worth mentioning just because we both just shared such a love and respect for him.
For both of them, really. Stephanie is amazing, and Ricky was an incredible mentor. I'm so grateful for the time that I spent with them growing up.
Yeah, just wonderful, wonderful people. So that kind of kicked off the friendship. And then because she likes to ride and she likes to do a little equitation where they judge more the rider.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I help with.
To see her on a hobby horse.
She has excellent form. She has excellent form.
Just saying, you know.
So here's some pictures of her. I think this was from her first show with Pharaoh at the Scottsdale All-Arabian Horse Show in Scottsdale, Arizona.
It was.
So that's a top 10, I believe, in the Select Hunter Pleasure class.
Yes.
That's a beautiful photo.
Yes. Well, he's a beautiful horse.
And this is him at
so
Region
regal.
12. Yes. So this is at the Region 12 Horse Show. I think Performance in Hand, Colby,
This was Performance Halter Stallions, and this was at Region 12, yes.
So to show in this class, this is a halter class specifically for horses who are also showing in the performance division. So they judge them, they evaluate them in hand for their ability to be a good riding horse. I think, look how, and on top of that, he's just beautiful. Isn't he gorgeous?
He's amazing. And you know what?
And he knows it. Look at him. He's like,
he does.
Plus, look at the smile on that girl's face. I mean, this is a very happy owner right there.
Well, I mean, blessed, how could you not be?
Look.
That was Scottsdale. We were really excited because we did 2 of the Performance Halter Stallion classes. One was an open, which Joe, my trainer Joe Alberti, he showed him for me in the open, and then I showed in the amateur. And he won both of his classes, but what was really cool about those ribbons is not only did he win those classes, but he was high point for all stallions, mares, and geldings both days.
Awesome.
So he was really off the charts. I mean, I love the Performance Halter classes because it just gives Pharaoh, that's my horse's name, a chance to just shine. I step out and he takes over.
Oh, yeah.
So this was at Region 12. Look, we had a great show. Look at all those ribbons up there.
Let me tell you, Jody earned that reserve champion ribbon just about as much as Pharaoh and I earned that reserve champion ribbon.
We did a lot of running all day long for that ribbon.
That was an insane night, and you see my supportive husband is in there.
Wonderful
He's amazing.
Raoul is there.
You'll never find one without the other. We're always together at these horse shows, and it's really awesome.
Look how beautiful. What a great shot. I've not seen this one yet.
That was awesome. That was also at Scottsdale.
They are. And they really are that.
Oh.
Seriously, no, you're
How long have you been married?
We've been together for about 15 years now. I hope I'm right on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh my
Marriage
God.
goals.
And you still like each other. That's
they enjoy being together. That's super nice.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic. That's really
So, Colby, why don't you tell us how you earned this beautiful trophy at the Midsummer
I should just hold it.
You can hold it.
God.
It's heavier than you think. I know.
Oh my God, you could do like.
Yeah, you could work on your arms.
When Jody took me to the trophy room to go get this trophy, I was so excited, and the lady handed it to me, and I was just sort of lackadaisical about it. I'm like, oh, okay, great, thank you, and I nearly dropped it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be as it's very heavy.
But it's the iconic Arabian Horse Reserve National Trophy. This is the same trophy that we've been using for
It does
ever.
the Arabian breed justice.
It does.
It does.
It's beautiful.
You know? It's so typey for the Arabians, but it's beautiful. It's a wonderful. I've always been somebody who very much enjoys the experience more than the ribbon, but winning this is really.
I was going to say.
This is good.
Serious trophy.
And this
was really great.
Colby's has owned this horse. You bought him when? Last February?
I bought him in November.
Oh, in November. Okay,
Yeah.
so not even a year.
It's not even been a year, and we've been through Scottsdale with wins. We went to Region 12. We were champion in the Performance Halter, reserve champion in the adult equitation. Then we went to Midsummer Nationals, where we were reserve champion, sport horse stallions in hand. I mean, This journey
has been,
it's been amazing.
It's a great partner.
I've been super, super grateful. And Chestnut Hill was really amazing in putting us together, because without them, this journey could never even happen.
Yeah, Joe knows how to match up the right people and the right horses.
No,
it's something he's really good at, for sure.
So we just got the, so you know what that means.
Time to wrap it up.
But, yes, the good news is I can get these two New Jersey girls to be quiet just for a minute.
Good luck.
Good luck. So we can come back after the break, and we have another segment with Colby and Jody. We're going to talk a little bit more about the show, and I want to talk a little bit about the breed as well, so you can learn a little bit more about Arabians and some of the misconceptions about them. They're such phenomenal, versatile horses. So stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. We'll be right back.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and our broadcast and television sponsor, Larson Hay, and also to our supporting sponsors, Equisafe, Nirvana Medical Spa, Showcase Properties of Central Florida, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, and Summit Joint Performance.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Center, Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, Magna Wave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage, and laser therapies.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Last segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet. Thank you to our broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I was just thinking today, last summer, about this time, I was in Idaho. And I had such an amazing time. I think I need to come back, Larson Hay. I'm Louisa Barton. I've got Jody Everton, my co-host, back in the studio. She brought Colby Hernandez with us, who had a very successful show. Actually, it sounds like all her shows have been rather successful.
For sure.
And certainly, Chestnut Hill Arabians has paired up horses with the right people. We're just talking about Joe Alberti, what a phenomenal job he does at that, and having obviously paired you up with this amazing horse of yours. Very, very beautiful horse, very successful. How difficult is it, before I ask you any Arabian questions, how difficult is it to manage a stallion at a show where there are a number of other horses around you all the time, and particularly when you have mares there? And
it's a great question. You know, had you asked me this before I met Chestnut Hill and Pharaoh and been involved on this journey, I would have said nearly impossible. I wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole. But Pharaoh is really, he's the horse of a lifetime. He's unique in every way. And any stereotype that's out there, he's the polar opposite. He's sweet, he's cuddly, he's easy, he's enjoyable, he's manageable. We go into these classes and we ride in the flat classes. I love that picture. We ride in these flat classes with 25, 30 horses, sometimes mares, geldings, other stallions. He never lets his attention stray from me. He's with me 100%. Even in the lineups, which to me, which would be the hardest part.
For sure.
Are those lineups where, you know, I mean, it always happens. You get in the lineup, and then somebody parks their horse right next to you, and I always think in my head, that must be a mare. Like, I'm just sure of it. And he never cares. He cares more about what I'm doing or what's going on with me. And then, like you said earlier, the Chestnut Hill team. I mean, they're so incredible with what they do with these horses and how they manage them, that when you go to these horse shows, I mean, you really feel the camaraderie and the team effort that's around you. So I'm never on my own to just, you know, work it out. But there you can see him working with, there's a ton of different horses.
This was a huge class.
He's 100% on me all the time.
Oh yeah, he is. His attention's with you totally, like focus.
And you know, the Arabian breed is actually the only breed that allows a junior exhibitor to compete with a stallion. Oh, really? No other registered breeder allows it except for ours. Yeah. And I think, you know, them in hand is a little different than when you're on them, but this horse, and a lot of stallions, believe it or not, I think you'd find, when they are saddled and in their performance frame of mind, they are not thinking the same way they might be as if, you know, it was breeding season. Right. You know? I mean, certainly we expect them to be mannerly, but
There's game on and there's game
Correct.
on. And there's two different
There's different games that could be happening here, but
yes.
I think he just, I don't know, he's a very mindful animal. He knows when that saddle goes on his back, he needs to be mannerly. And his job is to listen to Colby, not necessarily his equine instincts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's good because with the herd instincts horses have, you know, a horse that's well bonded with an owner or a trainer or both becomes part of your herd.
Absolutely.
And knows when it's time to be that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That horse for sure.
sure.
And that's, but you know, talking about the breed itself and the versatility, just I think it was last week or the week before, Heather Reynolds, a very good friend of mine, and her husband Jeremy were in the Tevis Cup. And almost every year they win it, and Jeremy won it again on his incredible Arabian.
Yeah,
and you know, they ride a ton of those Arabians in endurance. And well, you want to talk about incredibly versatile
They're an
animals.
amazingly versatile.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that breed. And when we were out in Oklahoma, the horse show for the last 25 years has been the Arabian Youth Nationals. Generally has about 900 to 1,000 horses, and my family and I had attended many times and always had just wonderful memories of being there. And then when the border closed, we would normally go to Canadian Nationals in August, but there was still some futurities and some different prize money options that they weren't going to be able to run because it was in Canada. So they moved those portion of the classes to the Youth Nationals and created the Midsummer Nationals, which started last year. And then this year they had 1,500 horses there. So it was a great show.
It's a good turnout.
Very good turnout, and the quality was outstanding. They gave out $30,000 in youth scholarship funds, which is a tip. That's on the yearly. That happens all the time, believe it or not. And so you have to come to the Arabian Horse Shows, get college paid for, I guess.
That's right.
And then there was the Arabian Western Performance Association gave $30,000 to adult amateurs that were competing in the Western divisions. There's a variety of other programs that give out money, but it was about $60,000 just in those two programs.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And you know, the Arabian breed, I feel like, does that. I don't want to say more so than the others, because quarter horse and everybody else does a lot too, but the Arabian Association seems to do quite a lot for their junior riders.
For sure.
And it's really a beautiful thing to see. I mean, being at Midsummer, it was a great thing to see all the kids and all the kid programs and everybody just out there and having a great time, because you know that is really the future. If you don't put the effort into that, then we won't have a future in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many different things to do with an Arabian. They're so suited to kids and adults, to beginners as well as experienced riders.
So affectionate for the most part.
Absolutely.
Most affectionate.
And they are a horse that really
You
connects
can.
with their person. You know, that's an important piece, I think, of having a successful Arabian is the person has to be dedicated to that horse, and then you'd be amazed at how dedicated that horse will become to you.
That's
a
so
gorgeous
true.
horse.
Oh, he's so wonderful.
He is wonderful. But you know, and Colby,
how old is he?
He's 6.
Oh, so
Just a
you've got
6-year-old.
years and
Yeah,
years.
he's just a
That's
baby.
wonderful.
Yeah.
He's just a baby. He's a baby.
We got a long time together.
He's a baby. Look how well behaved.
And
It's
he's amazing.
So, did you expect to be reserve national champion?
No, not at all. Especially when I saw the size of all the classes, I was like, well, this will be a really good learning experience. We're gonna get in there and we're gonna have
just
fun.
like the good sport that she is.
But it worked out in our favor, and I think if it was going to work out in our favor, that was the class to do it, because it really is a class that allows Pharaoh to shine. And anytime we really get the opportunity where I can just kind of get out of the way and let him be him, it's better. And he's just a phenomenal guy, and he's so chill, and he's always happy and easy-go-lucky, and just whatever I'm up for, he's up for, and that's what makes it fun.
He gets in a gorgeous frame.
He's beautiful, isn't he? Yeah,
I mean,
he's
look
so
at the
steady.
way he carries himself, and
and he's
everything.
proud of himself, and you can kind of see that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I like about the way Joe schools a horse is he doesn't over-school them. He doesn't school the horse out of them. You know what I mean by that?
Right.
Yeah.
He wants them to be that beautiful Arabian that they are, learn what they need to learn to be obedient, and then he leaves it there. He doesn't drill it down into them, and that shows.
He doesn't
I feel like, in the
pressure
horses.
them.
No,
Yeah,
I agree.
he lets them be them. If they're being perfect, then it's perfect.
Yep, that's good.
It's good enough for him.
Yep.
That's really amazing.
It is. So, what was your reaction when you found out that?
You know, when I found out, I
Were you
had
surprised?
well, I had no idea that we were getting a trophy. I was just excited that, like, oh wow, we're reserve champions. So I kind of walked in the ring with, you know, Pharaoh, and run up there to go get our photo, and they put the ribbons around his neck, and they hand me a ribbon, and then I took the picture, and the guy goes, now you have to go to the office and get one of these, and then they almost couldn't kick me out of the ring. I'm like, wait, I get what? Where do I go for this? Excuse me, I'm busy. and then Jody took me, and as soon as we walked out of the ring, we made sure Pharaoh was good and you know, put up in his stall, and then we went down to the trophy room. I will say, at Midsummer, it was definitely beneficial winning a trophy early on in the week For one, it takes a lot of stress off for the rest of the day. And also, second is going into that trophy room when it is full was incredible. I mean, there was hundreds of just trophies and ribbons, and it looked like Christmas morning. I mean, it was amazing.
That's fantastic.
That's always my favorite thing to do when we're on the first day of the show, is I like to go take a picture of the ribbon room before all this stuff goes out. Because you know, these are then they will end up dispersed all over the United States and Canada in a lot of living rooms and bring a lot of smiles and a lot of reminiscing for the rest of your life. I mean, that's what we do every time we look at ours at home.
We've got the 1 minute already. I can't believe it.
My gosh.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
It's nice having Colby on. Thank you. Thank you.
Missed
You're
you.
sweet. We've missed you too.
And Daniela Moguel, that you filled in a couple of weeks so beautifully for Jody. We love you so much.
Thanks for coming.
We admire you so much, and thank you so much for coming to the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games and being with us and making that such a special day. It's going to be an annual event from now on in Kayla's honor, and I think that's wonderful. We've had a great show. We'll be back same time next week. We're going to have Tick Maynard, author, eventer, and horseman. We're looking forward to having him here in the studio with us to chat a bit, and I'm sure we'll get Dr. Cayot back on as well, because we usually do. Managed to catch him with a surprise. Comment below on anything you've heard on the show. We'd love to hear from you so we can share that next week, whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not. Happy horsing around until the same time next week.